With school back in session in Santa Clarita, it's more important than ever to be heads up. Today we're joined by city staff to talk heads up safety tips for pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. You're watching This Week in Santa Clarita. We're joined today by Assistant Engineer Noelle Serrato. Noelle, thank you for taking your time.
Thank you for having me.
Noelle, residents have been hearing about the Heads Up Safety Program for a few years now. Can you share with us what that means for residents in terms of driving and being a pedestrian in the city?
Sure. The Heads Up program is part of a campaign that aims to educate road users and provide them safety tips when getting around town or going to school.
It's back to school time. So for parents that are bringing their kids to school, walking with them, or for students walking to and from school, what are some safety tips that you can share?
Definitely use a crosswalk or a paseo bridge when you can. But if using a crosswalk, always make sure to be expecting someone on the road, and definitely use that eye contact to make sure that they know you're there. Also, when using a crosswalk, try to avoid using your phone just for safety.
And now let's head over to talk with Alex Porlier to get some heads up safety tips for cyclists and drivers. Alex, we've talked a lot about pedestrian safety already, but drivers also play a role in being heads up in Santa Clarita. What are some tips that you can share with those getting behind the wheel?
We encourage drivers to obey the speed limit and avoid distracted driving. But now, particularly with more students and parents back on the road, we encourage drivers to look ahead. Expect pedestrians in crosswalks, cyclists on the roads, that sort of thing, particularly around campuses.
You mentioned cyclists, and it's important to note that older students particularly may be riding their bikes on city streets, on paseos, on trails. So what are some tips that you can share with those folks, those students, cyclists, so that way they can stay safe as well?
Always wear a helmet. No matter what age a cyclist is, it's always recommended just for safety purposes. Secondly, drivers and cyclists both need to recognize they have the same rights and responsibilities when using city roads. We have ample locations. You can find additional information, santa-clarita.com/heads-up. BikeSantaClarita.com has a safety and education drop-down tab, but also all of our city social media website. We're always dropping additional information.
Alex, thank you again for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And again, if you want to find out more information on how to be heads up in Santa Clarita, visit santa-clarita.com/heads up. You can also go to BikeSantaClarita.com for cycling safety tips and education, and follow the city of Santa Clarita on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we'll see you next time, Santa Clarita.